This is going to be going over the animation cosmetic banner in Chaos Zero Nightmare, just because I've been hearing people say a lot of things that aren't necessarily correct, but we actually already know a decent amount about this banner, so let's go over what we know so far. In Chaos Zero Nightmare, there is a banner called Eternal Moment, where you can get prism modules, and these add animation effects to the combatant's cards. Now, what does add animations mean? Is the most important question to this, because people have said, oh, it changes like your effects in combat or the whatever. It doesn't do any of that. All it does is it makes your cards shiny, and your cards will animate, and it's just the cards. It's not the actual combat animations like when your characters attack or the 2D animations. It's just your cards being shiny. Think of it as like a holo card, basically. So here we can see Maylin's base cards. This is what her cards look like by default. And then when she is in combat, you can also see the cards aren't moving at all. But then here is what they look like when you have the animation effect on them. And you can see they're rainbow, they're shiny, and then in combat, the same thing, they are rainbow and they are shiny. So now just to show that there is no functional change with your animations, we can compare the attacks, one with the base card, one with the, I'm just going to call it the enhanced card, side by side. And on the left is the base card. One difference is that this is in the middle of a combo for the base card, so she's already up front doing her attack, and she's about to string into the next one. And then on the right, you're casting it from base, so she's going to move in, but the attacks are going to look the exact same, which you can see now. Here it is for another one of the cards I have the animations for. This is, again, the base card on the left in the middle of a combo, and then the enhanced card on the right, just casting it from neutral. And you can see this was one of the ones with the 2D animations, and they're the exact same. So we've gotten, I would say, probably the most important part out of the way, which is just that the prism modules don't change your character's animations. It only changes the card's animations and makes them shiny. Then let's take a look at some other stuff regarding how the actual gacha itself works. And I think I forgot to mention this, but a lot of the images I'm using here are from Victron's video when he went to the event, so make sure to check that out if you want to see more. You can select the desired 5-star combatant to obtain that combatant's prism module. So this just means that when you are rolling, if you hit your 5-star, it's not going to be random. You're going to get the 5-star that you want. We can see the selection menu here. Here you can pick whichever 5-star you want, only from ones that you own, of course. On Victron's thing, he only had Aurelia, so he can only pick for Aurelia, but this just means that you're not going to get screwed. It's not going to be like you were aiming for Renoa and then you suddenly end up with Veronica. So that's nice. There's the usual thing, your 10 pulls are going to guarantee you at least a 4-star. If you don't know what's going to happen with dupes, with dupe prism modules, you're going to end up with a lot of dupes while rolling this banner. And this, I'd take a guess and say that either automatically or you have the option to break these down into a currency, because we're going to take a look at the shop soon. One more thing is also, I actually think I have it here. This is a translated version of the Korean text, but it just says you can get the prism module within 70 observations. So it looks like the pity is going to be 70, which isn't too bad. We don't, of course, know the actual acquisition rate of this currency yet, but we will see. So now let's take a look at the shop itself. In the shop, there is this tab here, the prism module tab in the exchange goods, where you can exchange this little film roll for the cameras, and the camera being the rolling currency, of course, which you can see here. So you can get 20 a month for 10, and then the infinite purchase is 20, or 20 films to get 1. And then you also see here, these are selectors from what I was told. So this just makes it a little bit cheaper, because 600, I'm just going to call these film rolls, compared to what would be 700, because if you buy it 20 a month for 70 rolls, it would be 700 film rolls. Now the thing is, of course, you have the chance of getting it earlier, so it might not necessarily be 700, but this is 600 for selector is a little bit cheaper and less orangey, if that's what you're worried about. For this game, orange is 4-star, purple is 5-star, basically. So this is the 5-star one, and this is the 4-star one. And only one monthly purchase for the 5-star one, 5 for the 4-star one. So we don't know the acquisition method for these. I'm going to take a guess that we can probably break down dupes into these, just because I don't know what else they're going to make us do with the dupes. It would make sense for it to loop back into being able to get more, but we'll see what they do. This is it for the shop, and it's important to note that these cameras are not our actual gacha currency. You can see the anchor shop here. Anchors are what we roll with. The rescue anchor, if I'm not mistaken, is for standard units, and then the whatever this is, something anchor, is for the limited units. So for anybody who is wanting to see what some of these animated cards look like, you can actually see them for yourself if you just go to the Chaos Zero Nightmare website and go to the characters section. All of the characters that are shown here will have their cards if you just hover over it. Just put your mouse on it, go to your favorite character like Renoa, and you can see all of her animated cards. For some of the characters, they're partners, so like Priscilla, you're not going to be able to see the animation because she doesn't have a prism module. But we can take a look at all the characters here. I'm just going to hover over all of their cards for like a couple of seconds. And then there is Mika. Haru. Oh, that was moving. It was just lagging. Owen. And Yuhi. You got Maribel. Beryl. Luke. And Lucas. And these are all partners. But if you haven't seen their designs, you can see them here at least. Priscilla is probably my favorite of the four. And here we've got Chizuru. Yufina. Cassius. Narja. And then also Alexia, though I guess Alexia's a partner, so we won't be able to see her animated cards. Yeah, we've got Calipe. Hugo. Agna. And lastly is Veronica. This is cute. So that's it for all the ones on the website. There's definitely some other ones. I've seen RINs around, for example. You could probably see these on some other people's videos. So that is it for going over the whole like cosmetic banner thing. Honestly, I don't think it's a huge deal. It's just like the main thing is that it's not going to take away from our rolling currency. This basically just lets you get little enhancements to the characters that you like. We'll see how long it takes to actually get the stuff. Like, based on the shop, right? Like, I would assume we can at least get 20 a month, given that they have a monthly purchase of 20 a month. So we should at least be able to get these. I've also been told that this is like a farmable currency. So, yeah, we'll see how it works. But mainly this was just to clarify that it, like, what does the actual Prism module do to your characters, which it's literally just their cards. Anyways, that's it, and I'll see you guys next time.